What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside the second best baby blues in all of San Francisco. And I have it on good authority, Daly City as well, Mr. Tim Geddes.
Great. Great.
Great. That's what you got for me.
Hate that.
Oh, he is the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas street Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globetrotting headshots and nitro rifle from twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
South San Francisco as well, East Bay is what I've also heard on the other side. Yeah,
let's
everywhere.
not get ahead of yourself. Maybe Emeryville, but he's not. There's got to be some baby blues in Berkeley that are kicking his ass right now.
I want them to be the best baby blues in Berkeley.
Best baby blues in Berkeley. And joining us for the first time ever as a guest on his own podcast, he's been burning the midnight oil at both ends. We love him. We know him. We love him. And soon to be daddy, Mr. Greg Miller.
Hello, Nick. Thank you for having me on the show.
Greg, pleasure to have you. Look forward to having you on again as a guest in the future. How are you feeling these days? You're like a month out from being the first ever Kind of Funny dad.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, that's the craziest part about it is like it just at this point you've been lulled into this false sense of security that the baby's always going to be inside of Jen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The pregnancy will continue to go. It's for me not right now we're on the every other week OB appointment where you go see the baby doctor or whatever. So it's not as egregious, but when we were doing the every month thing, that's really when it's a moment where everything stops. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about work. I'm not worried about dinner. I'm not worried about fertility or whatever. And Jen, lays down and they check her stomach. I'm like, God, you're huge. And you're bigger. You're only getting bigger. You know what I mean? Like
you say that internally though, right? Please.
No, we talk about it all the time. No.
Okay.
You know how Jen's been very open about her entire body and pregnancy journey and everything else. But it's this like thing of like, okay, steadily getting bigger. She put up a story not too long ago on Instagram that was like the first photo we ever took of kind of track or whatever with the most recent one. It was just like outrageous. And so yeah, like all right, cool. But now it literally is, October 7th, the baby's due date, which means that we are 1 month and 1 week. We are 5 weeks away from when this baby's supposed to be here, which is a ridiculous fucking thing to say.
That is crazy. I just got excited for that. I want to keep talking about this, but I got to do the rigmarole real quick. Of course, This is the Kind of Funny podcast where each and every week sometimes five best friends gather around these podcast mics, each just bringing topics to shoot the shit for your amusement. If you want to support this show, of course, you may do so by subscribing to our channel, or if you want to be extra cool, and I know you do, you can head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny and throw us a few bucks. You get all the shows ad-free, and you get access to our post shows where we're going to talk about what we really think about Greg Miller. Sorry, Greg, that was from last week when you weren't
there. Don't worry about it.
We love you, though. We love you. You know who else we love? Our Patreon producers, Julian the Gluten Free Gamer and Steve Powers. And of course, today's episode of the Kind of Funny podcast is brought to you by Babbel and HelloFresh, but we'll tell you about those a little later. Greg, you're talking about a month out. I feel like I'm driving the car right now. You know what I mean? It's like we're on the last lap. That whatever flag comes out before the checkered flag is there, and I'm like, man, I just got to bring this car in first. It's scary, right?
Yeah. It's not scary. It's nuts, and then it's like the checklist of things I haven't done that 9 months ago you said you were gonna do. The books I started and haven't finished.
How to be a great dad.
I was just joking with Jen or whatever because we're doing the birthing classes, right? Or not in birthing classes, it makes it sound like Lamaze. We're doing the classes from the hospital that are every week, and like very similar. I don't know if I talked about it on this. I think I talked about it with you guys on the first podcast. I'm sorry, Andy Cortez from kindoffunny.com.
What's Lamaze?
Lamaze you would know from every 80s sitcom.
The movies?
Breathing.
Like how do you breathe? Like go to the thing and you sit on the ground
it.
and you do the thing. And like these hospital classes are more intense than that of like what's happening at the hospital or what's happening in your body or what this very specific thing of breastfeeding is. But most of the time
it was like NASCAR.
That's Le Mans.
That's Le Mans.
Le Mans Raceway. Yeah.
Because Tim, I'm right there with you. It's spelled like Lee and then Mans.
Yeah.
But it's Le Mans. Le Mans. It's kind of like that film festival that has one of those silent letters in it. Can. Yeah. Several silent letters.
Can is spelled C-A-N and E-S-S-S, E-S-S.
There's pronouncing can, right? I felt wrong. I've always felt that way.
I mean, the French, we can all agree, don't know.
You think they need to give it another shot, Kev?
They're weird.
Yeah, they don't got it down,
So yeah, it's a breathing exercise, Greg.
Yeah. And so like when you think of like, I think at least me and somebody, in the same way we always joke around about quicksand.
Are you guys hearing beeping right now? That's weird.
No. I don't hear
I
any
did
beeping.
Slightly for a second.
Okay.
Who's beeping? Are we going?
Me.
Are we
no,
losing?
it's okay.
Are we losing altitude?
No, it's a timer that I had accidentally set up on my. I have a stopwatch. I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's my lunch timer. I gotta go.
No, you know how you go to Google stopwatch? So I'll go to stopwatch sometimes and just make a timer so make sure I know where I'm hitting like mid-show. And I accidentally hit timer and I hit. For some reason, it just counted down for 5 minutes, and it sounded like my desk was going to explode. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Greg. No, continue.
No. So, like, if you were telling me you were in a pregnancy class, I would immediately jump to Lamaze, and it's what my father does as well. Like, he's how's Lamaze? I'm like, it's more than that, Dad, but it's fine or whatever.
Our parents' generation, that's all they had to do.
All they did.
All dads had to do was go to one Lamaze class like a month, and they were like, "I'm doing my job as a husband."
It's still the same thing of like, you know what I mean, like. Jen and I, in the beginning of the pregnancy, had so many conversations about like, isn't this insane? Like we made a person, and that's it. There's no license or registration we have to do from here on out, right? Like, you know what I mean? We have to prove we're qualified to do this.
It's pretty crazy.
I feel you go to these classes, you feel like you're fucking batting 1,000 here. Let alone, again, the classes most of the time are just literally like, well, don't leave the baby in the bathtub. Like, no, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like stuff you should know.
That's my question, Greg. Like, how percentage-wise? How much of it is bullshit and how much of it is like, all right, I'm happy I did this class because this is something I couldn't have just YouTubed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can YouTube this entire thing. Sometimes you're just watching YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Like, I keep a little notebook, but the notebook's more of like what I need to buy. What thing do you need to get?
You don't go to the thing and then have to watch a YouTube video, do you? Because you could do
sometimes they'll show you. I mean, it's all Zoom classes, right? So it's like taking a class where sometimes they want to show you something in motion. Show how to get the colostrum out of the nipple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Show how to milk a
You gotta massage it out, Greg. Massage it out.
No, I know.
I'm ready. You do it like an eraser. Like
no, that's wrong. You think that's not wrong.
That's too much. You're too rough.
You do it like you've got like some clay in your fingers.
It's like you would a cat.
Similar to the cat. Yeah. There's a lot of this massaging motion. I've been doing that myself a lot. You know what I mean?
It's like you're trying to get venom out of a bite first.
You leave it
everyone
in there, leaks out. You leave it in there.
Don't GIF Andy for me. Do not do that. I do not want you to do that.
I need it.
Greg, it is let's say the National Hospital Authority, the NHA said, Greg Miller, we need to make sure that you and your wife, mainly you, because like this is a question about you, and like I don't want to, like Jen's not here with her. She's not on the podcast. But if they said, Greg, what would you? We need proof right now that you are capable of being really responsible. Mm-hmm. And you could say, well, I own a company. They're like, yeah, because we don't know really how you run it, right?
Here, can I be the NHL person? What is it? National Hospital?
NHA.
Yes, Mr. Greg. Andy, you be Greg, okay?
Okay.
Greg, you just said there.
Well, I wasn't asking, but okay.
No, but yes, Mr. Miller, it's true that you do run a company, but you did partner with Nick Scarpino, which we feel like is maybe the most irresponsible.
Because we turned him down years ago.
He's not allowed to have kids. We're not giving him a license to have
He was 20 years old, and he kind of just came up to us, and we were like, no, absolutely not.
In fact, on the way out, we just snipped his Vas Efron.
I was going to say, Greg, like, would you maybe show them, hey, well, I did this thing with Marvel and Black Panther, and I kind of came up with this whole run of show, and it was a lot of responsibility. What would you point to say, look, I'm capable of being responsible for pretty important things?
See, here's my thing is my pro is also my con. My strength is also my weakness, right? I'd be like, look at this video walkthrough of the nursery. We have all the stuff. Mm-hmm. Look at all the bottle sterilizers I have. Look at all my shit. Look at all this shit I got for this baby, right? And it would be they'd be like, wow, that's really impressive. But if they followed up with how does that machine work? That's where I'd have the problem.
Oh, you got
you know what I mean? Like bottle sterilizer. I'll cross that bridge when the time comes. All right. The manual's right next to the pot. The baby Brezza over here to make the formula. I'm not just gonna make fucking formula for no reason. When I need to make the formula, I'll make the formula. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I got all these goddamn apps on my phones. I got cameras going. I got you want to. This is how not ill prepared you like. There's days where I'm like, we got it. You know what I mean? Give me the baby. Just come on out, baby. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I'm feeling good.
And then there's the days where you download an app someone recommended, and you're like, oh, this is what got us through. And you go in, and the first thing is like, what's your baby's name? And you're like, oh fuck, what do I do? Like, I don't know what I'm calling this kid yet. I can't even advance past question 1 to this problem. Right?
Here's what I would say: Lil Greg.
Jackson.
No, just temp name 1, and then keep going.
Yeah, and then it gets back to the NHA, and they're like,
Sure.
you can't name your kid temp name 1.
It needs
You
to be
gotta have a
temp.
kid. You gotta
Yeah, temp name _final _111
Sure.
underscore final underscore
Final
Yeah,
two.
V2.
V2.
always.
Put the date in there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, that's-
it's interesting. So next week we're taking the week off. If you have never had a baby or you're not aware, people do baby moons, which are like a honeymoon, right? Which
Mhm.
I had never in my fucking life heard of.
Yeah.
Jen brought
People
up
are
the
a bunch
idea.
of pieces of shit. That's all I'm going to say on this.
People are.
Happy for you. Yeah. You don't just get to make up a bunch of freaking holidays and
any
shit.
fucking
Like,
excuse you want. You know what? Every year
let's
I'm
have
gonna
Moon
start.
do a thing, and then all of a sudden you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want.
I'm gonna say every year I'm gonna start taking a honeymoon. Just a heads up. Be mentally
Honeymoon.
prepared. I'm
Fuck
going
it.
on honeymoon 2 next year.
A lot of hostility.
Wow, I know. I don't know where all this is coming. This sounds awesome, Greg. I'd like. You know what, Greg? I'll come with you on that.
I had
one.
never
didn't
heard of
invite
this
you.
either. You know what I mean? Apparently, you only get to see Kevin. It's like a honeymoon. You only get to go through it once. But when you have your baby moon, then you can go do it. Kevin, to my knowledge, you never took a puppy moon. So next time you get if you wanted to catch them,
I'm analyzing my honeymoons, so I'm excited. For
I just said you can't do that though because it's a one-time thing.
But
You know
I
what
think
mean?
though, after I think that
Stop
the
me, though.
honeymoon
If
annualization
you want me
is
to
the
come over,
anniversary.
if you want me to come over and re-up your vows with Paula, then you could do it. I think.
yeah, sure. That makes a lot of sense.
There you go. Done. Now we did it.
Okay,
Already,
so
you know?
please explain the baby moon, whatever
The
this
baby moon
is.
I never heard of, but I guess it makes sense because I've never been a parent before or expecting parent, right? But the idea is, of course, that you and your pregnant partner go on a trip somewhere, like a honeymoon, right? And it's supposed to be like, hey, this is like our final, send off to, what it was to be this version of this couple, because obviously you're not getting that back ever again. When this kid's finally out the fucking door in 18 years, right? Going to Mizzou. Going to be an antler, going to be your
Right.
grandpooba.
Right.
No pressure. Then, of course, Jen and I are back in the house alone unless we got another one of these motherfuckers. But on top of that, we're going to be ancient, right? Like, I'll be so fucking old, I won't be able to enjoy it. You know what I mean? What am I
The
going to do?
real origin of the baby moon is a lot less fun.
Sure, lay it on me.
It's the fact of workplaces fucking people over, and your vacation renewal doesn't go over to the next year sometimes for a lot of places.
So you just
So
take
you're
it
like,
right now.
okay, well, you're getting your maternity leave or paternity leave, but you're wasting a lot of your vacation time and stuff. So people are like, yeah, fuck it, I'm doing a baby moon before
Oh,
that.
that's
Because
smart.
I'm using my vacation time, which
Well, I
yeah,
think-
totally makes sense.
yeah.
More power to them.
I think
It's
it's
just
a good time to celebrate sort of
branding.
like I think it's a great time to celebrate you and Jen as a couple before
Yeah.
you become a trio and your life is forever altered in a good way, in a great way.
And it's
I think
also
that's
that,
super cool.
for us, it's going to be the occasion to nest. Like, we've obviously already nested. There's already the baby shit all over the house. There's the nursery, yada, 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 yada. But for me, that is going to be the time where you figure when I take the time off for paternity leave to take care of the kid, it'll be about keeping the kid alive and trying to get some sleep and try to fit in some games here and there, right? I'm not going to have time in the band.
You're in pre-production now.
Exactly.
That's production. You got to get everything ready now, or else you're
Exactly.
fucked.
And so this is going to be the one to finish the 12 hours of sleep in 12 weeks book, get ahead on what to expect. We got the Wonder Weeks book. I need to, there's going to be a lot of reading next week and chilling out with Jen. And again, usually you go on a trip, obviously COVID, Delta, we're not going anywhere. We're just hanging out, getting ready, fix things here, little projects around the house, things I haven't fixed. We got those covers to put into the outlets, you know what I mean? So the kid doesn't zap himself.
Smart.
I got to figure out how the top sheet of the crib works. That's my main thing.
What about any blows, any blowjobs?
In the baby moon week,
Yeah.
I imagine we have
that is
sex.
not a question I would
Yeah, no, they're still
expect.
doing. They're
imagine
still
there'd be
doing
full
everything.
sex,
They're
yeah,
still doing
yeah.
everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rock
But I
on.
appreciate the question. That was
Is
one I didn't
Gray
expect, but this is a safe place, Andy. You're allowed to ask these questions.
I got
your boss on the show. Yeah,
I got so much more curious than I've ever been about a question when I was like, I really want to know the answer. Wow. Okay. Andy laying it fucking down. Now, Greg, speaking about making a giant human being, you slack something to
it's gonna be a
assets
big
right
baby,
now that
right?
we wanted to watch.
Oh, this baby's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
baby's
right.
gonna
Like,
be-
here's the thing. My sister just had a kid. Now the end got pretty big, but I feel like
Well, they
Jen
get bigger.
got there maybe at 6 months.
Yeah. Well,
I
when we
think
went in,
you got a
when
little
we went
giant
in
in there.
for one of the last.
Oh, he
Uh-oh.
froze.
I think he froze.
Oh, he froze.
That was a
Oh,
great
man.
timing for you.
That was a good timing.
Do you still not see me or hear me?
Oh,
There
there,
he
he
is.
is. There
You're back.
he is. The time was really good.
Your
on that.
video's
again.
choppy, but you may need to go to just audio, possibly.
You can go to auto only if you need
Yeah,
to, Greg.
switch just to audio. It's fine. Fuck everything up that I built. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, what do you think about us renaming ourselves in Discord so that we could have lower thirds? What do you think about that?
What does that mean?
How about that?
I mean,
But
that's difficult, right?
What do you mean by?
No, I think all the core members have a number in front of their names.
But what happens?
my number be
it's
6?
possible. No,
mine
it
be
can't.
9, and we're always next to each other, but
You
just
guys,
the opposite.
you have to stop. You
I
have
mean,
to
I
stop.
mostly
This
care.
is serious.
I mostly care about these things. This is again something that should be talked about in a meeting and not on a show. But I think people like seeing behind the curtain. The problem that I have, Nick, is like whenever we do these big sort of live shows or whatever, it's typical that there are lower thirds to show whoever everybody's on the show. But it's like hard with Discord since Kevin can't just
I gotta move 'em
reorganize people
around. You guys
and
are-
like.
yeah.
Discord orders you by alphabetical order, but not everybody's name is their Discord name, and like, it just
Also,
it's
if-
hard to
if-
Now,
prepare.
can I ask you a question? Are you saying this because your name starts with an A and a C, and you would probably be the first person always, and you like being upper left?
No, not necessarily. I just like didn't even realize that we could rename ourselves in Discord as like our nickname
I
in
don't
this
know.
channel.
I don't know if that shows itself. Why don't you just rename yourself now? Go ahead and call yourself
Let's
01. No, wait. You know what? Call
Call
yourself Z Andy.
Zandy.
Sandy.
Zandy.
They call him Zandy. Lips
You
like
think he's coming back?
Zandy.
You think he's coming back? You think
No,
he's
I mean,
coming-
Greg's slacking
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
working on it.
He's working on it right now. I hope he comes back because I have a great topic from one of our patrons
I mean,
today
it's gonna be
that I
tough
really
when
want to
the
do.
baby comes.
If not, Joey, if you're watching, I'll need you in here for this because I need as much energy for this one as possible. We have to do a group vote, and we need at least 5 people for this. Tim from Kind of Funny.
Just a quick question. Do you guys have a preferred sector to be
No, I don't care.
in?
Yeah, I don't think
I don't-
anyone
it
has
doesn't-
like.
it
For
doesn't-
certainly,
I
if
totally
you
don't.
guys do, I haven't respected it because no one's told me.
Yeah,
No.
that's true for sure. But I always prefer the bottom left only because back in the day with the split screen multiplayer games, I thought it was always easiest to focus on the bottom left.
That's a weird statement.
You know what I
That's
mean?
weird.
No, because
Yeah.
I get distracted by the
Everything
screens
else that was going
otherwise.
on. I
Yeah, it's just
remember.
like looking at HUDs, looking at stuff. It
Yeah.
always seemed to me that bottom left made the most sense. It's like playing a fighting game where it's like I always obviously prefer to be on the
Gotta be on
left,
left.
because that's
Yeah,
what you're
always
used
on the
to.
left.
You have
Absolutely.
that disadvantage if you're on the right, unless you're a pro and know all the fucking sweet strats and shit.
Greg's
Do you
back.
need me now or later?
Hi, I'm back.
No,
Joey,
Greg's
you can hang
back.
out for a little bit if you want. I mean, Greg's here too, but I think it'd be
It
fun.
was
if
a
you were on
trick,
this for this
Joey. Run.
topic.
Okay, I'm gonna
Up to
go
you.
work on other stuff and then
Go
I'll
work
come
on
back.
other stuff then. That's fine. God bless you. Godspeed. Greg, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, thank you. How are you? Pleasure to be
We
here.
are well. We were talking about some Discord stuff real quick, but I do want to bring up this, whatever this is that you just slacked assets. I was
Sure.
trying to segue over. You're having a big kid, and this looks like it's going to be a big thing. It's a terrible segue. We can just bring it up. What is this
Very
that you
bad.
slacked us here?
I was on Reddit. They said, it was something along like, what could go wrong of bringing a Sasquatch to your 5-year-old or 6-year-old's birthday party?
This is going to be terrifying. He's screaming. That's a nice house.
Oh, is this
Would
just
you
a prank?
Do this to your child.
They thought it was going to be like bringing a nice costume character to your house.
And it's terrifying.
It is not. It is a.
The dog freaking out, panic.
Oh, everyone's screaming. Why the quality drop so drastically randomly?
Look at the dog,
Is that-
so
There's
confused.
someone laughing their ass off though. I want to see this fucking thing.
But
What
do
is
they
it?
mean it to be scary?
No,
This-
it's not meant to be scary. Like it was literally look out the window, kids. Bigfoot's here.
When they
Why
saw
aren't they showing Bigfoot?
This reveal is going to be amazing.
This is the
but
scene
mom
from
and dad
Signs
are
with the
laughing their
Alien.
ass off. That's a nice house.
This is the scene from Signs with the Alien.
Oh,
like,
it's that. It's like a okay.
Oh, no!
terrifying.
Not the Bigfoot you were expecting, was it?
I like that
is
they're
big
shaking their
dramatic.
head like, what? What did I do? What?
that is
Oh
so
my
ugly.
Oh my god!
That's the Jack Link's fucking.
Yeah, totally.
Andy, there isn't like a pretty Bigfoot. Like they're all kind of
Henderson's
ugly.
was
It's
pretty.
like a-
No, but Kevin, I thought.
Bigfoot
no,
was
that
pretty.
looks like Harry and the Hendersons.
Kevin, I thought maybe we were going cartoony with it. Maybe it was gonna look like Bigfoot existed in the Ronald McDonald universe. That sort of like costume, a cute cartoony costume. That's like horrifying. I understand why they're scared. That's terrifying.
My thing is, what parent goes out of all the things you can choose to come to a child's party? And Greg, again, this is good for you, for future reference. Do not bring a Bigfoot to your kid's party.
But what if my kid is really into Bigfoot? This is the problem
That's
with
Of course,
kids.
your
That's what
fucking
these
kid would be
people
really
thought.
into Bigfoot. Of course,
Well,
Greg
I was
Miller's
really
kid
into
is like,
Bigfoot. I thought Bigfoot was cool.
well, we
You
were
know
too,
what I
but Greg, we had no stimulation as children. It was the 90s.
mean? Yeah.
It was that Nirvana. That's all we had. That's all we could,
True.
Bigfoot.
I think kids are weird. Like, you know what I mean? You talk to parents or you see stories of their parents. It was Blair, Jessica and Blair. Blair was tweeting about taking his son to see Free Guy. And he's like, his son was like, I'm almost 9, Dad. And it's PG-13. I'm almost 9. He's like, he's not true. He's barely 8.5. But like, he was like, hey, mutuals on Twitter. Is this going to be an okay thing? And it was, there was a whole bunch of people responding with stories of like, just say, I brought my kid to this and it was totally fine until this one weird scene where we had to leave the theater. Like, it's just like that put him on edge and freaked him out.
Did you look at that website, Greg?
Which one?
Because I saw the thread going on there, and a bunch of people were linking a website that exists that kind of people leave reviews for children.
Oh,
where
nice.
it's like people, it's like self reviews so that people can go and just be like, oh, okay, cool. This is
Good
I
for
brought my
kids, bad for kids,
5-year-old.
whatever,
Here was the problem, or like these are the bad words used, or it says like sexual whatever, but they just kissed a couple times or whatever, things like that. And I was looking through for the parents' thoughts on Free Guy. Oh God, if you guys want a good time, find this website and look at this shit. There's some people's thoughts on like what is or is not okay is hilarious. People take shit so seriously, where it's like the weirdest things where like moms will be like, yeah, there was a lot of use of dark colors and it kind of reminded me of some Satanist stuff. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That poor kid.
I
That poor
noticed
kid's
that.
gonna grow up and be like, he's gonna be so embarrassed by his mom. His mom's gonna go to his first like volleyball game, and she's gonna be like, I just fully reject these uniforms because of the color. And the kid's gonna be like, Mom, just sit there. Okay?
Please go
Just sit
away.
there."
Just stop. Please
God.
don't ever come to the games. I'm not telling you what day they're on.
What do you guys remember? At what point I don't think I was ever really embarrassed of my parents. That's not true. That's not true at all.
Immediately.
Okay, so I was never embarrassed of my parents because my parents are awesome, and you guys have met Lou and Elena. You can't not love Lou and Elena, right? They're classics as far as parents go. But man, would you guys believe it if I told you that my brother and my mom both really enjoyed embarrassing me in front of my friends?
Oh yeah.
1000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think there was a point where maybe around 13, 14.
Greg frozen
Probably
again?
is he
Oh,
frozen?
what a great face.
That's
and like
great, too.
the
Everyone
funniest thing
grab
about
it.
him being frozen is I thought he was reading something.
I thought he was too.
Out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah. Greg, we'll get Greg back and maybe he can be on audio only because he's having some video problems right here. But until then, calling all Joeys. Calling all Joeys. This is gonna be a fun one because
to get that.
What
Well,
else
I
were
don't
you
know
gonna
if
say?
Greg's
What
gonna
else were you gonna say about your parents?
I
About
remember when I was like
embarrassing you?
13, 14, probably I hit high school, and I think that was when I started getting a little bit more independent. And for some reason, they were just like, "Now's the time to keep this little fucker down. He's getting a big ego, and we got to make." And so my mom would just wait until all my friends were over, and then just be like ruthless, just ruthless. Like it was one of those things where it's like any stupid thing you do when you're a kid, any embarrassing thing like leaving skid marks in your underwear or something like that. It was just a ticking clock before that was going to come out of someone's mouth at my party.
For me, it was my uncles, Nick. I didn't
Weird
want
thing to bring up.
I didn't want any of my friends around in the vicinity of my uncles because they are just they exist to kind of annoy you and make fun of you and tease you
that's
about
what the uncle's job is. For sure.
Yeah, if they but like there was like 7 of them in my like
Dude,
and if they heard any sort of hint or if they heard any sort of rumor about a girl that you were maybe interested in,
Oh, you're dead.
Game over.
You're
that
dead.
was
And if she's there, if she's at the party or at the pizza party or whatever, you
No,
are getting
dude.
embarrassed in front of her forever.
it
It's
was
done.
definitely like I don't want y'all to come to the school assembly thing where I'm getting an award and it's an awards assembly and I'm one of the persons getting a thing like because there's a girl there that I like and please just mom and dad like just you all I don't want the
Right.
like because
I'm
gonna be
trying
so
to-
freaking annoying and they're gonna tease me and make fun of me and it's just like I dreaded that sort of shit, dude. I dreaded those larger kind of gatherings because I knew that I was just gonna be so paranoid and like I don't want people like I don't know. I've always been kind of very protective of my parents, and it's still that way today. Where like, my dad's on Twitter. My brother less so. I'm less protective of my brother because he understands kind of the internet or whatever. But with my parents, it's like I just hate when people. I don't want. I've seen people interact with friends' parents on the internet to try to get to the friend, and I just don't want that. I don't want people to try to get close to like. I get really overly paranoid and protective about that sort of stuff, and so that's why I'm like, I don't ever want to like see any interactions. Like, I just like
Don't want
stop.
that in
Just
my life.
It's fucking annoying. It's really annoying. But yeah, when it comes to uncles and stuff, I could not ever let that happen. I was totally fine with friends coming over because my friends knew my parents and they're like second parents to my friends or whatever, and vice versa. But goddamn, if I was gonna have uncles over, it was gonna be a nightmare, and I was kind of prepped to have them all get really, really drunk and then talk even more shit than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
so the uncle situation for me, and they weren't technically my uncles, but Kevin's uncles that we'd always hang out with.
They're the fucking worst.
But when we were young,
Worst.
they made us fucking cool. Like they loved us. They treated us like we were the homies. So it was always this like dope thing. The parents, on the other hand, Kevin, remember that girl you had a crush on in preschool?
No.
Started with an R. Regina, I think. I'll never forget. It was Regina.
Roxanne.
I know that for a fact.
It wasn't Regina. I didn't know anyone Regina. It was a girl named
100% did. Doesn't matter. But Kevin's mom was so embarrassing. It was your
So
birthday, and she would just like eviscerate you in front of this young girl. And it was like, we were like, I was like 4 at the time, and I'm like, just be cool. This is just so wrong to young little Kevin. But then the tables
couldn't
turned.
have been 4 because then I would have been 3.
You were in preschool. I don't know when you fucking go to preschool.
2, 3,
You must have been
4.
6, and I must have been 5.
All right. So there was
big
one
difference.
time it was elementary school, and Kevin and I were just a little bit older than my brother because that's how that works. And my brother was like, he was in 1st grade or some shit, and they were doing one of those award ceremonies that like Andy's talking about. And it was one of those things where they had to give awards to everybody because it was the 90s. And one by one, they'd have kids go across the stage, like, and Victoria gets the math award or whatever. And then my brother goes across.
God.
Greg Denny's, he got an award for washing his hands.
Oh my God.
And me and Kevin were dying, like could
Yeah, you
not
guys
stop
are
laughing
such
so
fucking
loud.
assholes
But
to
I
your
mean,
brother.
what the hell, guys?
That's
So
no
Greg's
fucking
gonna have that
award.
award framed on his wall.
That was,
I'm sure it's somewhere.
I mean, I'll tell you, at the new studio, though, I will be giving that award out to whoever washes their hands most at the new
He
studio.
was ahead of the times,
Yeah, he just didn't know. He
He's
knew the
Corona
Delta
ready.
variant was coming. Absolutely. No, see, that for me, that was always my brother. So my uncles were too old, and we didn't have that kind of relationship, with the exception of my youngest uncle, who, like, I never really hung out with my uncles outside of like the official capacity of uncles, which was just like Christmas Eve, the holidays. I would eat the Seas candy, and they would look over and be like, this kid's not living his life right, but I'm not in a place where I could say that. My brother, however, did not give up. He gave 0 fucks about embarrassing me in front of everyone and saying the worst possible things that could come to mind. In fact, I've often talked about how I used to work for him when he was in grad school. I used to like help him build sets and stuff like that. And I think he used to use me as an example of like, if I'm this mean to my own brother, like think about what I'll do if you step out of the line, right?
Smart.
Like
Smart.
I'm
That's a
making
good
Nick
move.
cry and smoke a pack of cigarettes over in the corner because he was 5 minutes late and doesn't understand how to clean steel properly. What will I fucking do to you?
It's still kind of that same way, isn't it, Nick? Isn't Matt sort of like, doesn't he want to kind of say the thing that's going to make you go, oh,
day,
damn it.
Andy, every day. So I love my brother, and he's incredibly talented, and it's so fun to work with him, and it's awesome that he's in our industry. But it's also horrible that he's in our industry because nobody will talk to me the way he talks to me in front of IGN employees. Nobody will do that, right? I'll never forget. There was a party. I think it was an E3 party that was at that cool, like downtown LA, one of like those big theater, kind of I think it's called the Mayan or something like that. IGN threw a party there, and we waited for a while to get in. It was when we had to get Bernie into and all that stuff, and Pear finally hooked us up.
Oh, is this the one we had
We
to
talked
sneak
about
Kevin
this.
into? Yeah.
Yeah, we
wait,
said
wait.
Kevin and Joey
I
did
had
the
Joey
thing,
lick her
lick the stamp.
and stamp me.
Yes,
with it.
we got to finish that sentence. Good. Lick the stamp. They got in. I finally got in, and I'm like, great. I just want to have a drink. Actually, this wasn't the mine. I think this was a different one. It doesn't matter. For context, it's always hard to get into the IGN parties. I finally get in, and there's a tiny little roped off area. That's the VIP area. And my brother is standing behind the rope. And he like looks at me, winks, and gives me a little kiss. Like, because he's in the VIP section and I am not. But I mean, it's like a fucking, like, Andy, it's like a table. It was like a table.
Doesn't matter. He won.
It
He
doesn't
won.
fucking matter. He just rubbed it in.
How much
He
did
knew
it bug you? How much did it bug you?
it didn't bug me at all. I didn't care.
All right.
But then
Here you
after
are
the third or
years
fourth
later.
time he said it, I was like, God damn it.
I want to get
It's
on the
not-
side of the rope.
No, it's not that. It's just that anytime it's the thing about Matt is anytime he has something he can lord over me, he will do so ad nauseum. He will never, ever, ever stop. And
I don't know
that is-
anybody at the studio like that.
There's
at
no
all.
one like that in your life, Andy. that would ever possibly
totally do that.
But I mean, you need that sometimes, right? Like that's what I love about my brother is that he's like, hey, let's make sure the ego doesn't get too big because none of this, like all we're doing is just making fun for people and having a good time. So don't take yourself too seriously. And that's what Matt has really taught me over the years. And that's what I hope to impart to all of you by harassing you on a near daily basis.
Andy, is it working?
I would like to say that it annoys me in the way that it's good for content. It's great for content.
Fair.
And I play it up. And that's kind of the role. That's the role that I have here, and I think it works well. And the community loves it. Whenever Nick has something to make fun of me over, and I scream and I yell, that's just part of it. I think we all play our roles really well here.
I would
Let's not
agree.
pretend that Andy doesn't get roped into it too, though. Anytime Nick brings up the one time I bought the tiny movie theater tickets or something like that.
It was so small.
Like, honestly,
Yeah.
there
It
was
was like
no
watching it on an iPhone 4.
God,
That's what it was like.
Well, I'm well aware. I've heard the stories 15 times last week. But no, my favorite thing
Deadpool
about it
told,
is
never
like
forget.
it's such a kind of funny story where it's like this one specific thing happens to somebody that out of the goodness of her heart booked tickets. Because why does it fall on Joey to buy tickets or me to buy tickets? It's
No
just
idea.
if we don't,
No
no one
idea.
else is going
No
to
one will
do
do
it,
it.
and then we're not going to be able to do the review. That's just how it works. But then Joey goes out of her way, gets the tickets, it's all great, and then no, it's just the screen's shitty. And it's her fault.
No, but, I mean, to be fair, the screen was totally fine. It was a totally fine, acceptable screen. But we have a track record of going to the Dolby Digital fucking magnificent. The blacks are so black that you don't even know the screen's on, and then it's like, oh, it's still on. You're like, every time I see it, it blows my mind. And then there's like speakers under your ass. There's just asshole speakers that just reverberate. And then we go to a normal theater. It's a normal theater. It was fine. And it was like, what was it, Deadpool 2 that we saw? But it's an opportunity to give someone that you work with shit. And
what's
we're
all
not
about.
beyond that. We're just not beyond that, Greg.
I mean, that's how we bond. You know?
I think so.
Greg, that sequence when he was growing his legs back, I was like, I don't know if they're tiny or not. Like, is this? I can't tell
Yeah, I
how
can't
small.
tell.
they
Those
are.
look like normal sized legs to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I want to get into our main topic here. Oh God, I'm so tempted to get into this other topic, but
Do you think
shit.
you lead the charge? We don't know
All
what the
right,
topics are.
shit, I gotta find it. Everyone talk
shit.
amongst yourselves. No, we'll do this one. We'll do this one because this one's more positive.
It's not a good sign.
What happens when Nick hosts the show?
No,
What's the
one-
negative one?
The negative one was it's time to do. I forget who asked it, and I can find this question. Might as well throw it out there. The annual who annoys Joey most
Oh, God.
podcast segment.
Oh fuck! Come on, guys. I thought we were not doing it this year because of
This was
COVID.
submitted
Everyone's
on
been really
Patreon.
light
This is
on
on
it.
Patreon. So what do
This
you want
was
to do?
submitted on Patreon. We don't
Who
have
said
to
it?
limits on this, but I'll find it right now. Sorry, that was one that I put on the list a while back, and then it fell off my list for the other thing we were supposed to do today. But
I haven't even been trying to get the number one spot. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Trying.
Well, and
Jesus.
like, I hate to break the illusion. I'm not really annoyed by anyone right
I
now.
know that's why I didn't want to do
We
it
don't
because like
work
we're not
with you.
around each other.
Yeah.
So
Let's
even
just
if
be
I know
annoyed
you
by each
a
other.
little bit, I could probably get it, huh?
See, that's the thing is,
There it
I
is.
think why Kevin has it is because Kevin spends more time with Joey than any of us on the old Fortnights at night, let alone the fact that they lived in the same house.
This is
Kevin
from
going
Jasic,
back for
by
the
way.
throne. You know?
Jasic on Patreon.
It's true, but you would think that like Kevin doesn't really annoy me when we play Fortnite. Like I don't know if I've just been desensitized
Definitely
Yes, you have.
to the shenanigans,
Mhm.
or if Kevin and I have like we can
We have
read each
fun.
other
We're
better.
friends. Like, you don't have to like be ashamed of it.
But you seem disappointed that you're not at the top of the list.
Well,
so
I'm
trying
just
to
saying,
help
like,
you.
I didn't know that the list was going on. I would have tried
Listen,
a little harder.
Joey, Kevin and I don't ever get awards here. Okay, we're not trending gamers. We're not Forbes 30 under 30. We're not whatever Andy got when he was in high school.
Kevin get an
we
award
gotta have something.
when he got engaged.
He got
Or
the
is that
award
a
for
fake
cleaning his
award?
hands. That was when he washed his hands. They gave him an award. That's a terrible callback. I'm better than that. I'm
That was a
sorry.
fake award. That was the
And that was
employee
cool, Greg,
of
right?
No, it was me. I was
Oh no,
employee
no,
of
for
of
the
hand washing.
hand washing.
Oh yes.
I will say that you guys do have a good rapport when it comes to your Fortnite antics. I've never actually watched you guys stream Fortnite, but
Or
when
played
I
with
hopped
us.
on,
After you're doing it, I respect that.
I hopped on
No,
that stream.
Nick hung
on
out with us
Saturday
for
night.
like hours.
I hung, and I was like, you guys are having a good time. You're having fun. Poor Snowbike Mike was in hell. because he was like, I hate Fortnite, and he like Snow Mike he didn't like it so much. He was enjoying the company and having a good time, but the game itself, he was just like swimming at one point. He was just like, I want my character to drown, but apparently Andy, you can swim in Fortnite. So he was just like,
he got what happened is he got tired. He didn't want to stay
he was on
on
stream.
Yeah.
And then you guys were like, and then Tim, I don't know if you know this or
For
not.
another 12.
Well, right about 11 o'clock, maybe it was midnight. I hopped on. We played some Apex a little bit. It was fun. Andy ended up hopping on as well. But before Andy hopped in, I think Mike gave the outro. He was like, all right, everyone, you guys have come out. It's amazing. We love you guys. So we're going to go 1 more hour for you. And then that's going to be it. And then these savages went 5 more hours after that. And I tapped out at 3. And I was fucking wired. I was wired till 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, I got to get back on. I got to get back on the stream.
Yeah. That's the energy, man. There's something about those long streams that, like, no matter how tired you are. Yeah, exactly. It's like if you get in there at the right time, there's always the lulls. There's always the moments that you're like, I'm dying and I hate this.
There's always the 2:30 in the morning ghost stories.
Exactly. But
so
then
fun.
something happens and like things start popping up, and you can feel it with the chat too. It's unlike anything else we've ever done. Like, it's so funny how it kind of feels like being in front of a giant crowd. It's like you're feeding off this energy, but it's like just the people, and you start getting into it, and next thing you know, it's 7 a.m.
Well, dude, what happens is we hit about, I think midnight was when 11:30 when Andy came on, right? What time did you come on?
No, it was
around there.
later. Was
It was later. Around midnight, I think. We'll say midnight for the context. We can go back and look later and figure it out. It doesn't matter. Andy pops in. He's like, hey, you guys playing Apex? And Fran had reached out because he was streaming Apex, because Fran starts streaming at 1 o'clock in the morning anyway for some unknown reason.
We reached out to him. We were like, Fran, you playing? We will.
No, he had been playing ranked games all week, and I had been seeing it, but I was like, I don't want to throw off his ranking, so I will abstain from dragging him down into the muck with me. But Andy comes on, and for some reason, the chemistry between me, Fran, and Andy was just the winning formula. Andy went into that zone, that like speed racer, colors are just blurring past him, and he's going the speed of light, and just fucking aced everyone. We won like 5 or 6 games in a row.
I was unconscious.
Yeah, but like at 4 a.m. once the kids on the East Coast started waking up, boy, did that change.
Yeah, no, we were getting like the weird. Also, I think I was starting the game, so I was matchmaking on the lowest out of everyone. So they probably matched me potentially.
Andy, there's full games where Andy just killed everyone.
Yeah, Andy's like got aced a lot.
All of it.
It was really fun. I wanted to pay you guys a compliment. I had a great time streaming. Joey and Andy and Kevin, you guys did a great job. And so Mike, if you're listening as well, you guys crushed it. It was super fun. And thank you everyone for coming out on that one. That was really great. I didn't get a chance to thank you guys for that, but it was cool. Of course, before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank and tell you a little bit about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Babbel. When you're traveling to a destination where you don't know the language, it can be challenging to accomplish even the simplest of tasks. Tell me that isn't true. There's one time I remember I was in Bali and I was very overwhelmed, not understanding what was going on, and that could have easily been solved if I had Babbel in my life back then. Thankfully, there's Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. Babbel is a travel essential. Greg Miller's been learning a little French here and there so he can better communicate with one Geneviève Saint-Ange Miller. You know what I'm talking about? Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Pretty cool. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. So that's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to babbel.com and use promo code MORNING. That's BABBEL.com, code MORNING. Babbel, language for life. Next up, shout out to HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Fall is busy, but HelloFresh recipes save time you'd otherwise spend meal planning, shopping, and shopping, so you can get back to what matters. HelloFresh's family-friendly menu is a big win for back-to-school season with easy, delicious recipes for drama-free dinners. So many members of Kind of Funny have been loving HelloFresh, including Kevin Coelho and Paula Coelho. She's a vegetarian. He's not. Guess what? There's options for both. It's great. So much cool stuff. You can go to HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals. Very cool. Go check that out now. One more time. HelloFresh.com/morning14 and use code morning14 for up to 14 free meals and free shipping. And finally, shout out to MeUndies. It's fall, y'all. Replace those hydration stations with pumpkin spice lattes and go out of your way to step on crunchy leaves because the coziest time of the year has arrived. I love MeUndies. I'm obviously wearing a MeUndies shirt right now, MeUndies lounge pants, MeUndies undies, and MeUndies socks because that's the type of life that I live. I just love their soft micromodal fabric and I want it all over my body. MeUndies, can you make some bomber jackets? Please. I want them very, very bad. Imagine the softest thing you've ever felt. Now imagine that's the thing on your butt. That is MeUndies. They're designed by the country's top softness scientists to be the softest thing you've ever worn, period. It's so true. I can attest. To get 50% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning to get 15% off and free shipping for first-time purchasers. And if you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. No caveats, no questions. MeUndies.com/morning. One more time, MeUndies.com/morning.
All right, and we're back. Here's the reason I've gathered everyone here, aside from the fact that we do this twice a week.
Sure.
South Bay Adam writes in, if we're going to remake Die Hard 1 with the Kind of Funny employees, who would you cast in what role? Now, I know what you're thinking, Andy. I don't know Die Hard that well.
Right.
I don't know the roles that well. I'm not even quite sure what these characters look like. Kevin, please bring up the handy dandy character profile sheet that I have made so we can go one by one and take a look at these. Now, I have the name of the character, a picture of the actor who played him. Be careful with the formatting on that, Kev, because you're going to cut stuff off. And then character attributes for these characters that we can go down. Now,
Can
Greg,
I just say something really, really, really quick? You must be prepared to die, Mr. McLean.
very close.
Ah, shit.
Not necessarily a line from Die Hard per se.
Oh, okay.
But
Where is
close.
it from?
I think you
There's
just
a-
made that up.
It was a little bit of Bond.
That was a little
bit of I
goldfish.
expect you to
that is the line from the Bond
You
movie.
expect me to
Yeah.
talk,
No,
do you?
I'm
No, I
prepared.
expect you to die.
Yeah,
No,
that's
Mr.
the
Bond, I
that's the
expect
line
you
I
to
was
die.
saying. Yeah. What does he say? How right? Something like that.
No, well,
Well,
that's what.
It's Christmas movie. Yeah, exactly. Nailed it.
Oh, that's exactly what he says.
Well, no, because they remember ho ho ho. Now I've got a shotgun or a machine gun.
Machine
Oh, he
gun.
does
That's
read
what he's
that.
going
He
off
does
of.
read that. He goes,
Right?
I got your
now
back,
have a
Andy.
machine
All these
gun,
jackals
too.
just want to tear you apart. I'm here for you. Until
Thank
my
you,
internet dies again.
Greg.
Andy, I do want to tear apart. I want you to know.
I don't want to tear you
It's
apart,
really
Andy.
good though.
I
Try
love
it all
with
you
all my
want.
heart.
It's a good impression.
Let's go down the list here. Of course, you have the titular, or not the titular character, the main character in all of Die Hard.
Hold
Kevin,
on.
go off and show it.
Give me 2 seconds. I know. Give me
John
2
Kevin's
seconds.
McClane
reformatting
dies
the
hard.
list so we can see
The titular
We're so
character.
close.
The
We'll be
titular
right back. Hold
character,
on.
Mr. Die Hard. Welcome to the Nakatani Plaza. Appreciate you. Kevin's gonna just bring. There you go. Perfect. He's got those pictures a little bit bigger than I formatted them. Perfect. Okay, so here we have it. Bruce Willis, of course, as John McClane. Occupation: NYPD detective. Character attributes: he's brave. He's great with a Beretta handgun. He's balding and he doesn't wear shoes.
Kevin, can you share the doc?
Very important.
Nick has it, but I mean,
Yes,
I
I'll
can
share it.
share it to general.
Let
I
me
don't know
switch
how
the
Nick
share
set it
settings
up.
on
I'm
this.
gonna be totally honest.
Hold on. Share with Kind of Funny.
I more meant like screen capture that instead of OBS or whatever.
Oh yeah. Sure, I got it. He's right. He's making a lot of sense.
Okay.
Andy's making sense. Everybody, give Andy a round of applause in your home.
Yeah,
Hey, there it is.
You got it? What do
Oh
we got?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's better. There we go. Who do we want to put? We can hold off. By the way, do you guys want to start at the
Yeah,
bottom?
give
of
me
the
a
list
whole
and
read.
then
yeah,
work
let's
our
go
way
through
up?
the
I'm
whole
not a
thing.
diehard expert by any stretch of imagination. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
let's.
I like that, Nick. Let's start at the bottom.
Let's start at the very bottom. We'll start at the very, very bottom.
How many people
Okay.
are there?
There's 10.
Okay, so there's 10. Are we trying to just
Whoever
do the people on this call?
I would say everyone in Kind of
No,
Funny because
all
there's
kind of
about
funny
11
and
of us.
part timers are in the pool.
With part-timers, we also have
Okay.
Portillo and the dogs if we need
Oh,
to. We can
right.
go to them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Now, my real question behind this is how many of these characters am I? And because a lot of these characters are negative. And so I'm wondering how many
So
people
it's
I'm
you.
gonna do.
Absolutely
I'm
one
wondering-
for sure that you are.
Okay, Kevin, scroll all the way down, please, if you can, when you're done resizing those. Because we'll start with the bottom character and we'll work our way back up. These are in order of importance. We have Carl, occupation, mercenary, character attributes, very angry, great mullet.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
It's different than.
Is that a
Nick, 'cause
mullet?
He's got a great.
It's
mullet.
not really a mullet, Andy, but I just threw it out there because
you said great mullet.
Well, it's kind of mullety, right? He's got like the bangs, and then he's got the longer hair in the back. That's a mullet-ish,
I think he just has long hair pushed back.
but at the front, of it's a little shorter.
I mean, are we doing that? You want to start the bidding, or do you want to go through everybody?
No, let's go through.
Let's start the
first.
bidding.
Alright,
Let's
keep
start the
going,
bidding
keep
and start putting people in.
Well,
But like, what if what if right now we're looking at that and we're like, man, that's
Great
that's
call,
Andy.
Kevin.
But
Kevin,
then the
keep
next
going.
person is also Andy.
All right, let's keep going. Well, it's gonna be. That's gonna happen. Spoilers.
I mean, this guy
fit in.
clears day
Well,
who it is.
just
Go
let
ahead.
us
All right.
decide, all right?
Next
Are
one.
you sure, Greg?
Joe?
Greg is dead set that he knows who that is.
This is a clear the mechanism, you know?
Clear the mechanism.
Empty your mind. Who's you got? Angry, mullet. We all know it's Gary Whitta, but we'll come back and say it
Perfect.
later.
Okay. I like that. Name: Joe Takagi. Occupation: President of Nakatomi Trading. Character attributes: he's very successful. He's a great boss. Will put his life on the line to save one of his own, and he's very well dressed.
Okay.
Up top, next up, we have Argyle. Occupation: limo driver. Character attributes: friendly, likes to drive, likes to chill.
Okay.
This guy's a great name, Argyle.
Argyle's a badass character.
Yeah,
Argyle's
really
a great
is.
name.
Okay, scrolling up, we have next, of course, you'll know him from Ghostbusters, but he was also in Die Hard. We have Richard Thornburg is the character's name. Occupation: news reporter. Character attributes: cunning, willing to do anything to get the story. Is the asshole in literally every movie he's ever been in.
Including this one.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he is a prick in this movie for sure.
God, this one's tough because like this one I want to give to Tim, but Tim's
I
not an
know.
asshole.
Can
like
you- well, let's
No,
hold
but I
on.
mean, it's
Let's
close.
keep
I mean, we can
looking
take
at
that
Isn't
out.
he?
Take
I'll
a,
say
I,
that.
if you were being smart, you'd be taking notes right now, Andy.
Mhm.
Where's the whiteboard?
Clear the mechanism. Andy, don't
clear the
worry.
mechanism.
Okay, next up we've got Dwayne T. Robinson. Now you'll
Why
ask
did
Nick,
you
is this a shot from Die Hard? No, this is a shot from Breakfast Club because it was the best shot I could get of him.
That's
Okay.
a great shot of him. Though. You want that. You want that shot. That's the shot you
the
want to
power
explain to
shot,
this
right?
person.
Of course, he's the police captain here. His character attributes: not really ever sure what's going on.
Oh,
is an
God.
asshole in literally every movie he's ever been in. So this is why this gets hard,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it
this is why
does.
this gets hard because a lot of these people could be different people,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't want to call you an asshole, Nick, but I mean, this is you.
Put it in. Put it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Let's
Save it,
scroll,
yeah.
scroll up. Next up, Harry Ellis. Occupation: VP.
This is the
Nakatomi
most
Trading.
Nick-ass motherfucker.
Oh.
Character
God.
attributes: loves cocaine. So I mean, Tim. I mean, I can
mean-
only be one of these characters.
To be clear, I need to say this to remind new people. Nick
I've never done
Scavino
cocaine.
has never done cocaine in his
But-
life. He
but-
just really loves the idea.
I love the idea of cocaine. I love
Loves
the
it,
culture of
loves the
cocaine.
idea.
I think it's a
Okay.
funny thing to
You
make
do not
fun
love the culture of
No,
I
you can
love
say that.
the culture of cocaine.
of cocaine.
What is
I-
the culture of
again,
cocaine?
I need to tell the
it needs to
story.
be. Anything it needs to be. You can tell a
I
blessing
need-
story.
No, I don't need what you tell the blessing story after I told us. I don't even know what that is.
Okay,
But
okay.
infamously, one of the first dates I ever went on with Gia was at a Patreon party in the early
Oh, that
years
was
of Kind of
fun. That
Funny.
was a
Year
fun party.
one of Kind of Funny, and
Great.
we
I
were
love
at
when
this
this one
party. It was where she first met you, Nick. And when we left, she was like, "That was awesome. Meeting everyone was so cool." Hey, that your friend Nick has a real problem though. And I was like, I started laughing about it. And then she was like, no, seriously, like, what is his deal with cocaine? And I'm like, oh my God, no, it's just a joke. But for some reason, that's your first impression.
Wait,
Well,
I thought
I think to the normal to a normal human being, somebody making a lot of cocaine references is off. That is not something that people do. But of course, it's, a lot of people will say it's a very endearing quality that I have, an endearing trait. No, the blessing story was blessing was like he was like I was blown away when I first started at Kind of Funny and discovered that Nick's never done cocaine.
Sure.
That's what he said to me.
That's amazing.
Not ironically, he was deadpan serious when he said that, and I gotta live my life better. Next character up, of course, is Holly Gennaro McLean. I believe she's a VP at the Nakatomi Trading. Character attribute: smart, great business person, good mother, will stand up to bad guys, especially if one of her friends really needs to pee. Okay.
I remember
I
that.
hate that that's like an accurate movie thing.
I know, Joe. I know. Scrolling right back up, then of course we've got the remaining three characters. We've got Sergeant Owl Powell.
Love it.
Occupation: police sergeant in the Los
Call him
Angeles.
Owl?
Al Powell. Owl?
Oh, got it.
No, I did call him Owl. It's Al Powell. His character attributes are: he's honest, he's loyal, he's good with a revolver, and he loves Twinkies.
Loves
Guys,
Twinkies.
guys.
Right? Come
Look,
on.
here's the thing.
I know.
Just like the asshole I want to take out, I want to take out the loves Twinkies just because I don't mean it to be negative. But this is the most Kevin motherfucker.
He
I've
loves
ever seen.
Twinkies. I love Twinkies. There's nothing wrong with loving Twinkies. I eat Twinkies like
You
a
don't think
motherfucker.
Kevin's the one that likes to drive?
We're gonna.
Oh, no way.
That's cool, Greg. For
That's
sure.
cool, Greg. To a G. You kidding me?
Chilling.
Yeah, Argyle's cool, Greg. Yeah.
I feel like we could just probably set that in. Of course, the last two characters, the man himself, Hans Gruber, occupation, some would say terrorist, I would say master thief. Character attributes: smart, good dresser, not afraid to kill someone if they get in his way, and not afraid to click heads, I would say. And then great in Harry Potter. Very good in Harry Potter.
Are you drinking a Capri Sun right now?
Sucking that thing down.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your beverage of choice today. All right, cool.
No,
We're
it
great. We're wrong.
came with a
I knew it's an
Lunchables.
influencer pack.
Came with Lunchables I bought like 3 days ago. I just never ate it.
Andy, right now, you think you can break the record for drinking the Capri Sun fastest?
I mean, it's all gone, Kevin. It's all
That
gone.
sentence barely got out. I love it.
Yeah, the delay in my
That's
headphones is really bad right now. And
I
I
love-
don't know
I-
how
I-
bad it is until I start talking.
It sounded like there was a carbon monoxide leak in the house.
But also
it was
the
bad.
way
I
that
was
the
like-
way that Nick explained it to it's like it does sound like words are just kind of falling out of
Kind
his
of fell
mouth.
out because he called it a Capri Sun, and that's the most me thing
Yeah.
ever. And now I'm calling it a Capri Sun from now on.
Somebody get a doctor.
It's
Paul
really
is already
hard.
on the ground.
It's
I
hard.
assume.
Kevin fucking A, dude. I know, and I'm right up against the wall with you.
It's
buddy.
like as soon as I say a word, and like it's getting better now. Like I want to stop, but it's like I'm already committed. I fucking started talking.
I know it.
You know what I mean?
And then
Like,
you
I
get the
didn't
nerve,
want
and then
to.
the nerves set in, right? Because these
No,
jackals,
there's no
these fucking
nerves.
jackals.
Yeah,
Heard it
it's
around
not
us.
nerves. It's like, oh, great. All right. Well, we're just gonna have to put up with this.
That's what's gonna have to happen. And then, of course, the last character is John McClane, occupation NYPD detective. His character attributes are that he's brave, great with a Beretta handgun, balding, and doesn't wear shoes.
Ever?
No, he always wears
He
shoes.
took
These
them
are
off.
just goof. These are
Yeah, he took
goofy
them off.
attributes. None of these have to be 100% there.
What
You
is
can
so
plug my
dumb?
name in for that if you want there, Kev. If you want to just go. ahead
Yeah,
and
it
put
seems
my
like
name for-
it seems like Nick
First
is
of
pretty
all,
dead set on this.
Nick, I
yeah.
would like for you to write it in because it's. a
I
Google
will
Doc.
write that in. You're right. Absolutely. Good call.
Thank
Good
you.
call.
Second of all, I'm gonna go back to building my robot.
Okay. Well, I need you
I
to
mean,
scroll
you're still
down
gonna
a
need a
list.
scroll, Kevin.
Yeah, I
We're still
need
gonna
to
need
scroll.
active scrolls here.
Well,
'cause
no,
we're-
so are we starting at the bottom?
Let's
We're
start at the
starting
bottom.
here?
Let's start back with
yeah,
Carl.
yeah, let's start at the bottom.
All right, well,
Who do
you
we
gotta
think
tell
is
me
our
that.
Carl?
I'm not psychic.
That is Carl is clearly Gary Whitta again.
Okay.
Right?
We'll put
Just
Gary
scroll
down.
it down and like, can I,
shit.
Kevin? I can't see the description anymore. Can I, see the
I
description?
understand. I'm trying to resize this
Kevin,
photo.
you sized it. You didn't do the pan and you pan and scanned it, and now it's you see there. Now
Yeah,
look at now you
that's-
smushed them.
He
Now
doesn't
you
look
smushed
good
It looks a
now.
little bit more like
He
Gary
doesn't
now.
look good.
That's accurate. Yeah,
just do
very
that. There
angry
you
and
go.
great mullet. Obviously, Gary doesn't have a great mullet, but he is very
He had
angry
one.
often on the
He
shows.
did have one.
Once
He
in a
did have
picture.
one. And it, correct me if I'm
was
wrong.
probably
Doesn't
a
Carl
wig.
have an accent? Carl's got
Carl,
an accent.
yes, he's from Germany. He's
Gary's
East
got an
German,
accent. You know what I mean? Germany
does.
and England, they're right there next to each other.
Kissing
Funny
cousins.
Kissing cousins, they
accent.
call them.
There you go. We'll just put funny accent.
There
in
was a bet once at a Leipzig Gamescom if you could underhand throw a tennis ball into England from Leipzig. It turns out you couldn't, but got pretty close. You know?
Okay. All right, we'll put Gary in for that.
Thank
Going
you.
right up. What about Joe
The motion
Tagaki?
passes. Can we
Great,
scroll?
great boss. I mean, I could put Greg in for this.
Yeah, Greg's the one that.
That's a great boss. Put his life on.
I don't know if he'd save one of us, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know that any of us would. That's the
Remember when
thing.
Greg went and smoked that cigarette so we wouldn't get the cops
Yep.
called on us?
Thank you.
Oh,
That's not
Exactly.
what that's not what was
Perfect
going on.
example.
I went into
He didn't
enemy
want
territory.
to burn our building down.
Again,
I
we
went
could-
into enemy territory to save all of you and the business, and I did it. And I did walk out doing this. I did walk out adjusting my tie, just like Joe is here.
Yeah.
And I would say I would put my life in line.
And you know what? Whenever Greg
Our
does all
movie
the
suit.
E3 stuff, very well dressed when he's on stage,
It's
right?
true. And he's the
Kind of
leader of
insult to
he's
my
the leader
current
of our
outfit, but
plaza.
yeah.
He's the
Yeah,
leader
no,
of
that's
our
good,
tower.
Andy. Good call. Good call on that.
It's a bit crude outfit.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean, he
we'll
looks
put
like
Greg
shit
in
right
again.
now.
This is a great
Yeah, it looks like
sweatshirt. I got
Donald.
my
It's a
vote
good
sticker
sweater. I don't like the sticker on it.
Where'd you
though.
get the vote? Oh, you voted
I
in
voted.
the recall?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Coming back up, I think we could put I'm
Yeah,
either
you got
gonna
to vote
say
too.
I did.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
I'm gonna put
Argyle's cool,
Uh,
Greg.
okay, we'll go cool Greg. I was gonna say Portillo.
Look at this
but
guy
cool
and tell me
Greg.
that's not cool, Greg, right
That's
there.
cool Greg for
It's
sure.
definitely cool. The likes to drive throws me off a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
the
Well,
thing
he's a
is-
limo
Here,
driver, but
here's what I'll say.
We'll just take it out.
Likes to
Like the show.
drive to the paint while playing basketball.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the thing is, I'm sure he would like to drive. He just doesn't drive. That freedom would be
That-
liberating.
Tim, you're so right that seems like such a hobby that Cool Greg would have if he had the ability to.
Does he-
Like
Does he not
I
have
totally get that.
I think he still has his license.
No, they took it from him.
Oh,
That's what happens.
He doesn't need it.
Greg Miller from Kind of Funny.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the winds kind of changed on me there. I was gonna say, Joey, put on the thing for Patreon in January. We teach Cool Guy to drive. Oh, I didn't realize he knew how to drive. It was just reprimanded by the state that he no longer does.
It wasn't because of driving stuff. It's just, like Cool Greg's life. He's lived a life. You know what I
You're
mean?
a flight risk. They take it. They pinch it.
Very true. Very true.
All right,
All right, and again, a lot of these are placeholders. We're not gonna always hit all the marks on this one, but cunning, willing to do anything to get the story. I mean, I feel like this could be Tim. I'm throwing it out there.
fuck it. I'll take it, guys.
Okay.
that makes sense.
I
Guys
think
look
Tim
at
is
that. I'll put it out there.
I
mean,
think willing
say-
to do anything and cunning is like very much Tim.
But also asshole, right? And like, who cancels all the shows?
That's
Tim's
what I'm saying.
we've got this whole Vince McMahon persona for Tim. Of we just, shows are underperforming and people don't want to do them anymore. So we ask to stop, and then we stop it, and then we all blame
Someone
Tim.
has to
You know what I mean?
deliver the message.
Exactly. Someone's got to be the antagonist tonight to my John McClane.
I loved during that town hall when Tim was like, look, when it comes to KFAF, look, Nick and Annie just don't want to do it. And then some people were like, wow, it took Tim to say this. It's like, motherfucker, have I not been saying that?
Ever.
Have I not been saying this every time we mention, yeah, Tim canceled the show, but also I don't want to do it. Is it not?
It is hard though, because we do think it's so funny to tell people that Tim canceled the show that we do put a lot of emphasis on that. A lot. It'd be like, dude, Tim canceled the show.
Well, I mean,
also we didn't want to do it.
I'm always, I would say not me so much in that camp.
Again, Andy, we all have our roles to play here. We all have to play our roles here.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's just like, look, I feel for Mr. Richard Thronberg here. He's the bad guy in every movie. Is he the bad guy, or is just everyone think he's the bad guy? So then he has to fill this role.
Tim,
he's the fall guy.
I don't know.
He's just trying to get the story. He's just trying to do his job the best he can, and he is the best in the business. This guy is bar none the best reporter in all of Greater Los Angeles area.
There we go.
So I don't think it's bad. I don't think that's bad at all.
He's Forbes 30 under 30 for sure.
For
Oh
sure.
yeah,
he was
100%,
30.
100%.
Also, William Atherton, great career in movies. Did a lot
Not
of bangers in the
accurate,
80s.
but
and
yeah,
90s.
he's been in a few movies that you.
I mean,
remember.
were you in Ghostbusters, Greg?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, is that the hallmark of a great career that you were Walter Peck and this guy?
I think you answered your
And the
question with
Biodome
your own
guy?
question. Next up, Dwight T. Robinson, police captain. I guess we could leave this one blank. I don't think there's anyone that really fits into this.
Not really ever sure what's going on. Is an asshole in literally every movie he's ever been in.
I mean,
How about-
the thing is, take away the asshole bit.
Right.
It's either Nick or Kevin.
I think Kevin's our Al Powell.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I wish we could add not really ever sure what's going on to the Powell thing.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you mean? I'm well informed enough.
If I had $1 for every time Kevin was like, "What are they talking about?" Whether it's
to be
not
fair,
looking at
though,
the calendar.
How many times have I, during a podcast, asked a question
Also
and or
true.
said something else that Tim's like, we just fucking talked about that.
Here's
Well,
the thing.
hold
just went over
on. Real quick. I want to say this. A perfect example of what I'm talking about is right before we went live on this show, on the calendar, there's a thing that says Tim, Nick, Greg, call. We were doing that call, and then I get a text from Kevin that says,
All right. Just
said-
read what I meant to say, not what I said.
I mean, I don't know. You're going to need to clarify for me, because what you said was, you guys had me doing a meeting, ?
Yeah, the autocorrect on that one, more like, auto incorrect. Am I right, Nick?
I mean, dude, I've been there a lot. I mean,
All right,
I
but
think
here's
go
my
ahead.
thing is you call that out. You say, yeah, on the calendar, there's a thing that says Greg, Tim, Nick meet at 3:00. At 2:53, Nick slacks us and goes, we still hopping on the call real quick? And I go, yeah, Tim put it on for 3, right? And Nick goes, oh, haha, I see it now. Sandwiched between everything else. He didn't even know the meeting was happening at 3.
I mean, I knew we were meeting. It just said sometime before. To be fair, to defend me, in the Slack channel, it said, let's meet before the podcast so we could talk about a couple things. I did not know Tim was throwing a meeting on the calendar. It doesn't matter. I figured it out. And I understand what Kevin's doing because it's color coordinated. So Kevin probably looked at that and thought, I have to record something with these guys.
No,
Is that what it was, Kevin?
to be clear,
No,
it was coordinated to say he had nothing to do with it.
I'm with
No, I wanted to
You're
hop
our
in
Dwayne T.
and,
Robinson.
and
That's
say
what you're
hi.
doing.
I wanted to hop in and you say hi. So
I'm
I was
with-
like, oh, are they in a meeting?
Who you with?
I'm with Tim a little bit because and only because I have the recent memory of the video that we had when we did, I believe it was Loki in review, and I'm telling Nick the story about how Kevin Feige had had a meeting with all the directors and producers and was like, these are the rules of the MCU. And Kevin came in saying something that wasn't really what I was saying, and I was like, no, what do you mean by that, Kevin? And then everybody's like, yeah, Kevin, that's not what Andy was saying. And he goes, oh yeah. it was hands down like one of the funniest fucking things I've ever.
Because at a certain point, Andy, take it from me, as a person who's been in that spot more times than I care to admit, you just got to cut your losses sometimes. You know what I mean, Greg? Like, I fucked up. I'm going to cut my losses and just bail out of this one.
And I'll bounce. Here's what I'll throw out there, all right? Is that I believe with all of my heart, the role here of Dwayne T. Robinson needs to be played as Nick. Because of this.
I'll crush it.
Dwayne T. Robinson, not sure what's going on in his Ass 11 movie, right? He does that thing where he's a great villain, obviously. He's a great,
great antagonist. Yeah.
But you'll see him where he raises up and he actually gets scary. When Nick gets angry, Nick gets scary.
The posters. Remember the posters?
Of course I remember the posters. Kind of funny live one. You kicked the power out. The whole show powered down. Me and Colin were like, what the? And you were like, you just raged. You got so pissed off you picked up a poster tube and threw it into the hallway of our house.
There were poster tubes everywhere. Greg was like, I organized
mail
everything.
Out like 500 kind of funny signed posters to patrons, and that was that. It was fucking go time.
That was a tough time. That was fun. Great times.
Look at the anger in this man's face right here. He's doing the "you mess with the bull, you get the horn" speech from Breakfast Club, right? And like,
absolutely.
And this is not meant to do anything crazy. All right, don't take this the opposite way. But have you ever been afraid of Kevin? Like, you know what I mean? Like, think of us cowering in that spare bedroom when Nick went crazy. Of me. Think of the meetings we used to have in this thing. I'll tell you what. I'm glad Blessing's been locked up because of a global pandemic, so he hasn't had to see the monster Nick Scarpino can be.
Okay, all right.
So, Greg, you're making this point. You're bringing this point, and I do want to bring in Exhibit A, okay?
Sure. For your case,
anybody who's ever been involved and is going to be involved, and it's like, we're setting the rules, all right?
Rules of the multiverse.
These are the rules, all right? So everybody take your fucking notes out, and we got to be on the same page so that nobody's kind of screwing stuff up for future movies or whatever. That's the coolest thing ever. I wish I was there.
But do you think they're going like full Disney, where it's like, man, if you're the character, you can't say you're the character. You're the character's friend. You know what I mean? You can't tweet and say Vin Diesel is sitting there being like, Groot definitely didn't die. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
I was saying they're taking away the agency of the actors. In Disneyland, when you go to Disneyland, the characters.
No, yeah.
I think that's different than a movie, though.
Nothing to do with what Andy just said.
Oh, yeah? I don't like that we can just bring up evidence like that. I just want to make this clear.
That's scary, Kevin. I don't like that at all. I will full on say when I made this list, as I was typing this out, I was like, this is me. This character is me for sure. Just because he's just overly confident, doesn't really know what's going on, and is kind of ridiculous. And shout out to the guy I forget the guy's actor's name, but I love this actor anyway. So we'll just we'll throw my name on that one.
Sure. Okay.
I would say.
Fair enough.
Because
I do like that. Because there are all the times that Nick says, in that last show, Andy was saying this is like, no, Tim said that. Tim said that.
And then I go like this. Oh, right. like I knew it. It's false confidence, and that's what this guy is. Hey,
I remember what was the interview, and I think it's happened a couple of times, but where like I'll say a fact, and then like literally a minute and a half goes by, and Nick says the fact as if it's an original plot.
First off, I'm not the only person that does that.
No, I know. We're just giving you a shit.
But second off, I do that all the time, and it's because I lose. And you know what it is? I lose focus so quickly in these podcasts because there's another screen over here, and I'll just see something over there like a Twitter. I'll scroll through Twitter. I'll see it. I'll zone out for 5 minutes, and then I get scared. Then I'm like, what did they talk about? And then I have to be very careful. This is great. Kevin's brought up this image of Gary Whitta with the mullet, and he looks exactly like Carl.
Kev, can you go back to the other thing and scroll down and then go back and forth? I just like him with his hair. It's like, yeah, Greg, you nailed it. That is Gary fucking Whitta. I love it.
I know Gary when I see him. I know him in every iteration.
You know who this also reminds me of, though? The original actor. He reminds me of, like, if you were to put long hair on the oldest brother from Home Improvement, from the guy from Tokyo Drift. That's who he kind of reminds me of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zachary
Zachary
Ty
Ty
Bryan.
Bryan.
ZTB.
Now I'll say, as a weird piece of trivia for that actor, I believe he was a ballerina in real life.
Oh,
I believe
Zachary
he was
Ty
like
Bryan.
yes, correct. And actually Tim the Toolman, Tim pirouette. Terrible joke, Nick. You can do better than that, Nick. Andy, write that down. Write that fucking down, Andy.
What do you want him to write down?
Write it down, Andy.
What
Andy,
part
just
of
write it
that
down.
scene?
Help him out, will you?
Write it fucking down.
Pirouette.
Come on, fuck, it was good. It was good.
It's awful.
It came around. We got it
was good.
around.
It came around when Andy did it. All right. All right. We got a few more left before this fucking shenanigan wraps up. Let's go back up. Let's go up to Harry Ellis. Now, let me tell you right now. Harry Ellis is just the guy that likes having a good time.
This is Snowbike Mike. This is Snowbike Mike.
Oh my god! Holy
Fucking
shit!
nailed it. You nailed it.
Oh God, yeah. That is
smile,
just-
man.
I mean, you could replace cocaine with tarantulas, and there you go.
There you go.
Loves
Good point.
Okay with tarantulas.
doobies. That's what we're gonna put.
Just
Loves
stony
doobies.
baloney.
Okay.
Doobies. Love doobies.
Doobies.
Stony baloney.
Oh
Stony
Lord,
baloney.
I
All
love
right.
it.
Who is our Holly Gennaro? Who is the person who is probably the most responsible in this entire group
Oh,
and
God.
is just
We
so
got it. It's an easy
unfortunately placed around all of the rest of us
one. Yep.
idiots?
Sometimes she buys the wrong kind of movie tickets.
I'm just and again, I don't think we need to default to anyone per se. But this person is like Holly's character in Die Hard is like the most well-adjusted and just like fuck this situation all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes maybe Holly is asked to get merch for other people. Maybe the merch never shows up every once in a while.
But I don't think that's
something
Holly's
that happens too.
fault necessarily. I mean, maybe our merch vendor is just used to like much bigger companies, and for some reason they're saddled up with us.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
My only question is, will she stand up to bad guys if I have to pee? Joey?
Joey, would you?
I would need like a
it sounds like a
scenario
no.
in which I would
Sounds like a
have to
pretty
do
solid no.
this.
Really need to pee.
Is this like I'm having to fight with like not Starbucks, but like some mom and pop place that like doesn't necessarily let you use the bathroom
Yes.
to go in
It's
because otherwise you're
Delta
gonna-
variant, and Tim is about to die, and Starbucks is like, our bathroom's closed, and you're like, listen, and you negotiate with them because she very clearly and calmly negotiated. She was like, unless you want people to start bursting and peeing on the ground, I suggest you start taking groups of like 3 people to the bathroom.
My client's gonna pee right here.
My client will pee right here.
I'll do
Joey, would
it.
you do that for us?
If you let me just use the company card to bribe them into buying something so that they'll let
Oh,
us use the
I'll
bathroom,
be
then
like,
yes.
better. I've got all of Tim's credit card information. We'll just use
Perfect.
Great.
that. Yeah.
Deal.
Joey, Noel.
Hard bargain.
That was one of my
Perfect.
favorite things of joining up for Alien Elite Fire Team Elite last night with
Shut up.
Gary, Snowbike, Mike, and Kevin, where Kev's like, "Oh, hey, and also, can you get me a thing of Xbox Gold?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah." It turns out it was expired, so I just bought it with Tim's credit card. Now we're ready to go. I'm like, "All right, I'll get you a code for it."
Gary said that?
No, this is
Yeah,
Kevin.
Gary's
Oh,
Kevin.
Kevin. Okay.
Yeah, Gary.
Oh, like, damn, Gary, fucking, what's up, Star Wars money? All right, scrolling up, we got Sergeant Al Powell. He's loyal, he's faithful, he's a good guy. He's the guy you want on the other end of that call when shit goes down on the other end of that radio. And he loves himself a Twinkie.
I mean, Nick, like this picture.
Of course, played by the venerable Reginald Bell Johnson here.
I mean, it's so true that
It's
whenever you are in a pickle, if it's 2 a.m. and it just so happened that you ran over a horse and your carburetor is broken,
Fucked.
and like you call Kevin, and Kevin's gonna
Kevin.
figure out a way to get the horse to fix the car. Like he's gonna figure something
horse
out.
owes you money, that horse.
It's the horse's fault.
Yeah, he's gonna sue the horse. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Easy.
Let's put Kevin in for that. Now,
Easy,
here's where it
Kevin.
gets interesting, though. Hans Gruber.
Yeah. Well, interesting.
Now, when I first put this down, I also thought about Tim for this one. He's well
Just
dressed.
because of his nose and his facial hair.
It's his general demeanor of being like, he would, if John McClane hadn't been here, he would have totally gotten away with this plot. He would have, this was a master plot,
Got it.
absolutely perfectly engineered. Threw the police off. Nobody ever had a chance at catching up with this guy. So I'm saying this could be Tim as well. Throwing it out there.
I'd be
I will-
afraid to kill someone.
I will say though, who does least on company time? Me, Master Thief.
Oh,
Think about that.
Right. You're right. Also, who does the best and only Alan Rickman in this entire office?
Really solid.
All
right.
Damn,
Mr. Scapino.
For a
Andy?
second, I thought
Sometimes
Joey
it
was gonna pull
sounds
out
like him,
Alan
and sometimes
Rickman.
it sounds like a Pokemon.
Yes,
Like just
it
kind of
really
making a
does.
sound.
A Pokemon that's drowning.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we've got just one left. Now, originally, I'll be honest with you guys. When I thought about John McClane, I thought about one Greg Miller. I did. I feel like Greg would crawl through glass for this company. But due to his current internet outages and just failing on this podcast, I don't know if I can plug him in there.
well,
What do we
I've already been cast. We can only be cast
We
once.
can
Yeah,
recast. We can recast that
No,
character.
but also
I don't
it's
think you
like
should.
also the John McClane of this movie, I believe, does not have a kid yet, much like Greg does not have a kid. But
He has 2 kids.
exactly, that's what I was going for.
2 kids.
So think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Brave, great with a Beretta handgun, balding, doesn't wear shoes.
Mhm. And again, there's other attributes, right? It looks good in a tank top. Very charismatic. You know,
At least 5'7", 5'8".
at least 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
Actually, I think he's 6 feet. Bruce Willis. Yeah, he's
fuck.
pretty tall. Great green eyes.
I
I mean,
kind of
we
feel
could
good
re-
about Blessing for this part.
You want to do blessing?
Does he wear shoes?
no.
Does
Okay,
Bless wear
hold
shoes?
on,
Yeah.
guys. We have to.
I'll
we
call
have
him
to
right
go-
now and ask.
We have to go one thing by one thing. Blessing Adeoye Jr. Brave?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yep.
Ooh,
would
I don't
say-
think
I mean,
so.
he
No,
moved.
no.
He
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 moved.
moved for this company.
For
He's
this
done
company.
Yeah,
spoken.
so did Andy, and
He
we
did
would never
spoken word
describe-
poetry. Remember, he
Andy
did
is
spoken word
brave.
poetry. He break dances. Those are all brave things.
Yep.
I think Blessing is as neurotic as I am. If there ever were to be a public situation where Nick is freaking out at the waiter or somebody's getting mad at the person in the movie theater, I think both Blessing and I would both sit there being like, oh, God, I hate this, dude. This sucks so bad.
You don't think
You
you'd
know?
quietly leave?
Wait, hold on. So what
Blessing
point? do you
Adeoye
get-
Jr. It's Greg Miller. You're on the Kind of Funny podcast. How are you?
We're not brave.
Oh God, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's a super simple question. Are you wearing shoes right now?
No, I'm not.
Thank you very much.
Done.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's it.
There
See?
it is.
Just they keep
Oh, shit.
racking up. The numbers keep racking up over here for Bless. Who are the other options? You know what I mean? If you want to have a conversation, who are the other options?
I mean,
Roger, I feel like Roger might be able to fit the role.
He's
Roger's
not brave.
brave.
He didn't move to San Francisco.
Yeah,
And
he's
that's
still-
even
he's
braver.
going wherever he's at.
He was like, "Hey, I
I'm gonna
really
stand
want
my
this
ground."
job, but I'm staying here."
Mhm.
Everyone else just folded.
Roger loves shoes though. He has
Yeah,
a
Roger can't
no
not wear
shoes
shoes.
policy.
And really, it comes down to that. With a race this close, it comes down to that minutia.
Yeah.
Do they or do they not wear shoes? And I think we have our answer. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through the cast one more time of the redo of Die Hard. We have as John McClane, we've got Blessing Adeoye Jr., Alan Rickman's Hans Gruber will be played by one Andy the Nitro Rifle Cortez. Al Powell will be Kevin Coelho. Holly Gennaro McClane will be Joey Noel. Of course, we've got Harry Ellis, or just Ellis as I played. I didn't even know he had a first name. And that's just fucking Snowbike Mike. Like you would not believe, dude. Dwayne T. Robinson, of course, will be played by me, ever the endearing and loving asshole. Richard Thornburg, the cunning reporter, will be played by Tim Geddes. Argyle, of course, is just Cool G incarnate. We've got Joe Takagi, will be Mr. Greg Miller.
I love this one. This is good.
And I know, that's a good one. And then, of course, rounding it out, Carl will be Gary. Carl. And ladies and
I love
gentlemen,
it.
that is your podcast for this week. This is your KF podcast for this week. Of course, remember, if you guys are watching this and you're not a Patreon member, hey, consider being a Patreon member because we're going to do a cool post show. I've got one more question from the audience for that, and it is a banger. But of course, if you got no bucks to give, no big deal. Please subscribe to this channel. We are almost at 300,000 subscribers here on youtube.com/kindoffunny. So if you love this and you're listening to this as an audio listener, and you don't usually check out our videos, go over there and think about subscribing and hit that little notification bell if that's still a thing to make sure you get all of our content right in your pocket.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Doesn't cost you anything. And of course, let us know in the chat below, in the comments below, rather, what you think of our Die Hard list. If you think Portillo should have been my role, I mean, he can have it. He can have our role. He's the best of us. He is our king. Greg Miller from Kind of Funny.
Yeah, the one question is, we obviously wanted to cast this movie very much as just the Kind of Funny crew in there because that was it. But now that that's done, where can we fit Steve Harvey into this motion picture? You know that Steve, a classic Kind of Funny podcast bit. making sure Steve Harvey's cast in a movie.
Great question, Craig, and I'm glad you brought that up. Of course, there is a couple more roles in here that we didn't cast, two of which are the Johnson & Johnson, the FBI agents.
Great.
And he could just be both of those characters.
Love it.
He just plays twins. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme did in Double Impact.
Exactly.
Perfect. We'll just put Steve Harvey honorable mention, or we just plug
Love
in that is anything. Yeah, cool. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you. All right, we're in the post show now.